Hey, happy Monday. I know we had a big week last week,
Yeah.
and there was a
Hey,
lot that went
happy
on.
Monday. I know we've had a big week.
We had a huge week last week, and there was tons that went on. And some of us are still kind of reeling, not to get off the subject or anything, but we just wanted to take some time out and maybe we could talk about something a little different. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so today I'm on with my husband, Marcus.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Isn't he beautiful? No. So I'm on with Marcus, and we are going to talk about this word that most people hate, the word submission. And it's kind of a scary topic for a lot of people. So, hey, we're going to tackle it and come at it. And then at the end, if we have questions, if you have questions during it, hey, we're going to talk about it. And but we're super excited to be on. This is something Marcus is really, really passionate about because I'm not really sure that we've been married for almost 17 years.
17 years. It's been good though.
Yeah.
Through it all, God has been good to us.
I didn't pay him to say that, but so we've been married for almost 17 years. We've been dating for 17 years, right? We've been together for 17 years.
Yeah, 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start out with the beginning. So when we first got together, no, I wouldn't say that we got together. When I first met Marcus, I really liked him. He seemed to be super cool. And I went all over the University of Louisville's campus to find him.
The anointing. I tell you what, it works for you.
Okay. Well, anyway, I went all over the University of Louisville's campus, and I was asking people if they knew who he was, because we had gone to Bible study on campus, and for whatever reason, it was like jam-packed. There were no more seats, and when I got there, I had to sit behind everyone. And Marcus, he started talking, and when he talked, a lot of things made sense. And I thought, wow, this guy is amazing. Does anybody know who he is? Now I wasn't thinking, I want to marry this guy or date this guy. I thought, let's just be friends. You seem like a nice person that I could be friends with.
But it's amazing where friendship leads, though.
Yeah, it does. It leads to some really awesome places.
It leads to 17 years of marriage.
It does. It leads to 17 years of marriage. Anyway, so I find this guy, recruit this guy, and I'm like, hey. So I didn't like the guy, but I recruited the guy to help me find Marcus. And I said, hey, look, I'm looking for this guy. I think he's from Jamaica, and I need to find him. Do you know him? He said, I will help you. Well, you know what? I found out that he later liked me, and that was something else. But he helped me find Marcus. I mean, we searched for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And lo and behold, I found Marcus.
She went on a treasure hunt.
Okay, I didn't do that.
Huh?
I didn't.
You didn't do that?
I didn't do that. I didn't go on a treasure hunt.
That's what it sounded like you just mopped out to me, but hey.
I didn't go on a treasure hunt.
I'm just saying how it sounds.
Yeah.
It sounded like you went on a treasure hunt.
No, I did not go on a treasure hunt.
It did pay off, though.
Well, it did pay off. Yeah. But anyway, so I found Marcus. And I don't know, somebody told me that once you meet the person that you're going to marry, you can talk to them all night long. Like, you end up telling them all kinds of stories, and all kinds of things happen. And like, you just connect on a level that most other people don't connect on.
Yeah.
And guess what?
That's not true. Is it?
Yeah, it is true.
Oh.
Yeah, we talked for hours.
No, we did.
We talked for hours. Now, this guy that was helping me find, he was just standing there just watching. And we were talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking.
My bad, I forgot that.
Yeah. We talked for hours. I think we stayed in the same place. It went from daytime to night.
We was there for before 5 hours.
Yeah, we were there for a long time.
Yeah.
And I ended up inviting Marcus to church. Now, I did not invite him to church thinking that we were going to get married. I still was just looking for, hey, we're buddies, somebody that I could hang out with. The time I was kind of I didn't really hang out with a lot of girls. I hung out with a lot of guys at the time. Not that it wasn't my preference or anything like that, but guys seemed to be a little bit more knowing.
That's
not as drama. Anyway, so I invited Marcus to go to church with me. He came, and the rest is not history. We went through a period of time where we hated each other.
Well, hate is such a strong word.
I hated him. I didn't like him.
Well, she hate me. I mean, sometimes when God called you, sometimes you gotta walk through whatever that is, and we just had to walk through that. But I wouldn't say I hated her. We just really dislike each other a little bit. Maybe a lot.
It was a lot. We disliked each other a lot.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, something happened, and we ended up not necessarily liking each other, but hanging out a little bit more. We talked more. We shared more. We spent more time together. I worked at night, so he would come and visit me or bring me home.
well, I think that happened when we went to a different state on a conference, and we were the only two young adults there with the praise team we sung on at the time. We just were the only two in our age bracket, so we hung out and I mean, I'm not gonna say it's all downhill, but it's been a great adventure.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. It has. So when Marcus met me, I had tons of dreams, tons of aspirations.
Yeah.
I was going to be either an attorney, or I was going to run my own nonprofit, or I was going to be a politician. I was going to do all kinds of things with my life. I was going to change the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, Marcus, I don't know how you feel about this, but you know what? If you want to marry me, you're going to have to be along with me for all of my hopes and all of my dreams. And what do you say?
Well, I support you. I mean, she was radical, so was I, and but I support. I 100%. I say, hey, I support you. The Lord put it on my heart to support us, so definitely.
Yeah, so he was my supporter. I mean, he was like, yeah, I'm right there with you. Whatever you want to do, if you want to conquer the world, we're going to conquer the world together.
We'll do it.
Yes. Then we got married.
Yeah. And
and a lot changed.
A lot changed.
Yeah, a lot changed.
Yeah.
We had really good hearts. We wanted to be there for each other, but a lot changed.
A lot changed. Well, first of all, I'll say a lot changed. Number one, I had picked up some bad habits. Not drugs or anything or that crazy stuff, but in terms of learning what a husband is, not necessarily according to the scripture, but from a different standpoint that wasn't healthy. More like controlling, more like dominating, like, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do, this is where we're gonna go, this is how it looks, without allowing Andrea to speak up, without allowing her to share her thoughts and her dreams and her opinion, or whatever the situation is. Basically just making decisions and doing what I think is best for us without consulting her. And man, that was wrong.
Yeah, it was like that for a while.
Yeah.
I thought, so can you read we're going to address a question here. Let me read the question. So I had asked a little while in the group, if you guys could give me some opinions on some topics that we could talk about. And one of the first topics that came up, and I wanted to address it because, we've learned over the years that, hey, there's a lot to know about marriage. And sometimes it's not just straightforward. It's kind of finding your own groove. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So her name's Patience. So this question comes from Patience. It says, how do you show respect to your spouse, and how can you be a submissive wife? Okay. That question was kind of addressed to me. And then Marcus read it because he's a part of the group as well. He says, the Bible talks about husbands and wives submitting to each other. What does that look like? We put so much emphasis on the wife submitting to the husband, but what about mutual submission that the Bible clearly spoke about in Ephesians 5:21?
Yeah. And Ephesians 5:21 says, submitting yourself one to another in the fear of God.
Go ahead.
So, one of the things that I've learned in my relationship with Andrea, submission it's a two-way street. It's mutual. And, we hear so much talk about the wife submitting to the husband, and the husband is the head, and the husband he's the big kahuna, he's the godfather, he's the don, he's the boss, he's this and he's that. And yeah, there's some truth to it, but I believe submission is mutual. It should be mutual submission. One of the things that works for Andrea and I is, we talk about it. We talk about everything. There's not much that we don't talk about.
Oh, you're moving too fast.
Oh.
You're moving too fast.
Oh,
He's ready to go into preaching.
fast.
Did y'all
Okay.
know
No.
my husband is a preacher.
No,
So he
just-
likes to, he'll get into it and he'll start to preaching on. So, you may have to, you'll see me reel him in just a little bit. But I kind of wanted to go back and go back to the beginning, because when we first got married, a lot of the emphasis was on wives, submit yourself to your husband, and husbands, love your wife.
Yeah.
And that was reiterated over and over and over again. But the examples that I saw, they weren't not necessarily healthy examples. Either you had a very domineering wife that was running all over her husband, or you had a very domineering husband that was running all over his wife.
Yeah.
But I never really saw the balance.
Yeah.
There. So I looked outside. I started looking for people, ministers, people all over the place, women that had that were supposedly submissive to their husbands.
Yeah.
And I got this idea that submission meant not talking. Just kind of let your husband do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And then when he figures that out, you just pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. You don't address anything. You just pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. And then eventually your husband will get a clue.
Yeah. After you done wrecked 10 cars and burned down 6 houses. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, we can give some real life examples. I remember when early on, we had 2 separate bank accounts, right? And we had talked to this guy, and he was like, "Hey, look, if you don't have a joint bank account, your marriage is not solid." So you know what we did?
We got a joint account.
We got a joint account. Now I had this account for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. I think I was maybe 17 or 18 when I got this bank account. And I was like, okay, Marcus, here we go. Marcus had some issues. He'd come from, living in the Bahamas. He moved here, and there were some people that were helping him through school. So like if he ever ran out of money, he got always kind of ask them. But now we're on our own. It's just me and him. We have to make our own money. And I don't know that he had gotten the concept.
Well,
that when you put the debit card into the ATM machine, that the money comes out of your account.
Yeah. Well, I was used to doing what I want when I want to do it. I didn't have to talk to nobody. I mean, I just did what I want. And now I'm married, and I'm still doing what I want. And not realizing that what my choices and my decision was not just affecting me now, it was affecting both of us.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. That didn't work out. That joint account didn't work out too long. Well, not if she wanted to stay. She wanted to stay sane.
Yeah, we didn't. It ended up going into like a really bad place. I had to close it.
Yeah.
So we ended up separating our accounts, and I wasn't necessarily trusting when it came to that, was I?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Well, you had every right not to be so trusting. So
yeah.
I mean, and I get it. It's a reality.
So in that particular instance, I mean, I feel like, hey, the Bible's telling me to submit, but submitting in this point is really, really scary.
It wasn't making any sense.
It did not make sense at all. So I did it. I was like, hey, we're going to go for it. We're going to do whatever he tells me to do. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And pray that he gets a whole lot better.
But at the same time, it didn't make sense. It didn't work. And it's not because the word doesn't work, or it's not because the word is wrong. It's because I just wasn't trusting, because I was I was used to being single, you know, do what I want, go where I want, stay as long as I want. And that just, I still had that mentality. I had to grow, I had to develop, I had to change in that area. You know, I know when we were engaged, you know, Andrea came over to my apartment, and I had to go run an errand. So I said, I'll be right back. And she was in the room I was gone all day. I didn't call, I didn't text. I didn't even think about it, you know. I'm like, I mean, she at my apartment. I didn't even think about it.
No
I was
food,
just
no nothing. Yeah. I didn't have anything. I'm just sitting in the room. Where are you? Oh, well, I'll be home. In that next hour, where are you? I'll be home in about 2 hours. Where are you? We're about 3 hours out.
I mean, again, I didn't call nobody, text nobody, and just going into this relationship, you know, I thought I was ready, but yeah, I found out I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. Or maybe my view or perspective on preparation was not it. You know.
So I want to address Anefra Janine Curtis's comment. She says a joint account affirms oneness and it requires discipline. You're absolutely right. We totally agree with that. We have a joint account now, but it took some time. It took some training. Yeah. Marcus had to get to the point to where we could, where he was open with talking about the decision that he was going to make. Yeah. And it took us a little while to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, because I used to manage all of the banking and all of the bank accounts. Well, I'm not going to sit to a desk and go through all of these paperwork and figure that out. And then it take me a while to say, you know what? Andrea is strong in this area. I just turned it, when she took it over, I mean, we've just been on point. We've been on top of things. We've been ahead of things. But like somehow when I was there, when I was doing it, man, like the numbers just wasn't adding up. Like, you know, I mean, I'd go pay a bill and all the kids like, hey, Dad, can I get some shoes? Yeah. We could spare $50, $60, $70, you know, and then it just wasn't working out. So when I turn it over to Andrea, it works. I mean, hey, I just leave it alone.
Yeah.
I get up, I go to work. I mean, I don't even look at my check stub. It's been years since I look at the check stub.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessary for me to look at it. She look at it, so I don't need to. So, that works for me. I'm not telling you to do that, but that works for me.
Yeah. And to address like submission, I mean, to me, that's an area where he submitted to me. He has yielded to my strengths, and he's okay with the fact that he's not really strong in that area. And that's an area that I'm strong in. So he has given me access to all of his accounts and everything that, you know, any money that comes in that he has, I have access to all of that. Yeah. And, you know, he trusts me enough to make sure that everything gets taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this for some years, and the light never got cut off. They didn't kick us out, so we've always had a place to stay. So it works. Yeah. So I mean, I could have been, I'm the man, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm the head, and doggone it, I'm gonna make sure to handle the finance. Well, we tried my way. My way wasn't working. So I mean, I want to sleep comfortably. I don't be sleeping in the, you know, we got 3 boys, 3 sons. I don't be sleeping in a car with 3 kids. I mean, number one, they whine a lot when they're not comfortable. I ain't got that kind of time. So you know what? I just give it to her, and I'm at peace. Yeah. I ain't tripping. I ain't worrying. I ain't fearing. You know, oh boy, what I done mess up now? No, she deal with that. Andrea, she does a good job. So hey, that's her strength. That's her grace. Yeah. Just keep running with it.
Yeah. And Anefra Janine Curtis says it helps. Janine. Oh, Janine. I'm sorry. Janine, my apologies.
Hey, Janine, how you doing, girl?
It says it helps with budgeting and organizing your financial goals and personal goals. Yeah, we sat down. We talked about our financial goals. Yeah. So Marcus is not completely excluded. We talk about everything that we do. Yeah. Like he said earlier, we talk about everything. We talk about where we want to go, the things that we're going to accomplish, what bills we're going to pay, what we're going to do with the kids. Yep. We're very much in sync. Yep. It's not like I've taken it and gone rogue, but we are very much in communication with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, whenever it's time for a haircut or if I want something, I say, hey, Andrea, blah 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 blah, and she just say yay or nay. You know, she'll say yeah, wait, or if it's something she got up her sleeve, you know, she may try to surprise me, and that's not too easy to do, but she try to surprise me.
Yeah, he doesn't really like surprises.
I don't like surprises.
So let's jump back. Let's kind of go back to some earlier days and just our journey. I think when we got the closest, I think it was when we moved from Louisville, Kentucky to Missouri.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's when we begin to grow, and you know, of course, being so active, being that Louisville is Andrea's home, and it's technically my home in the U.S. And then, you know, we're so busy, we know so much people, we're so involved with so much different things. But when we got to Branson, I mean, we had service on Sunday morning, then we got a whole Saturday evening. We don't know nobody. You know, we don't have nowhere to go. I mean, you could only ride. And we move like in the winter time when Branson is like everything shut down. It's like a ghost town. So, I mean, you could only ride around the strip once or twice before you say, man, this just, you know, so, you can see this. So
yeah, everything closed by 6 or 7 o'clock, and there was nothing to do.
Except
and then,
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. That was pretty much it. We frequented Walmart, except for there was an ice storm there, and we really couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They shut down church. They shut down everything. We didn't know anybody, so we were just kind of. We had to get to know each other.
We had to talk.
Yeah, we had to get to know each other a lot.
We had to talk.
And we had been married at that time for 6 years. And
was it 6?
Yeah, it was 6 years, and there was still a lot of things that we didn't know about each other.
Yeah,
a lot of what we liked, a lot of what we disliked.
Yeah, I found out that a lot of things that I thought Andrea liked could change.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, if y'all listening, man, check in with your wife regular because it changes quick. I mean, just so you know.
I think we got some technical difficulties.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hopefully we're back on. Thumbs up if you see us. Can you see us right now? We had to jump off real quick, experiencing some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're back on.
Yeah.
All right. Thumbs up if you see us. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for sticking with us. Yeah, so we really did get to know each other in a way that we hadn't before.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to bring up again, so Marcus is from the Bahamas, right?
Born and raised.
Okay, so he's from the 242.
Yes.
And I'm from the 502.
Hey. We got the 2 in common.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm just teasing. So Marcus is from the Bahamas. I'm from Louisville. Guess what we're encountering? It's not just male and female differences, but we are experiencing cultural differences on a regular basis.
Yes, Samantha, I see you up there.
Yes, I know there's some Bahamians on here. Shout out to my Bahamians. Shout out to my Rayma friends, my Louisville friends. Hey.
242. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not partial. We love you all.
But to be honest with you, I'm partial when it comes to the Bahamas.
Okay. We love you too, Marcus. Yeah. Anyway, if it was up to him, we would have a Bahamian flag in the back waving.
It ain't long.
Okay. So we're dealing with cultural differences. We're dealing with husband and wife differences. You know, it's different, and we're raising 2 kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mixed kids, that is too.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, being from the Bahamas, one of the things I had to learn being married is not to be so blunt. You know, how do you like the stress? Yeah, it's beautiful. Not to be so blunt, but you know what I mean, to be honest but gentle.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when Andrea first went to the Bahamas, I had a relative that passed away, and, you know, all of the families together, we just hanging out, and she pulled me aside. She's like, are they about to fight? I'm like, no, they're having a good time. We just loud, and we just have when we get together. I mean, the whole earth shake because we have fun.
Yeah, they do. They do. I remember going to. I mean, it was super loud. I always thought that it was like. I was always kind of nervous because at the time I was really, really soft spoken. Like I was nervous because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And in the culturally, like me coming into the family, you know, women hang with women, men hang with men. And I'm just like this, take me with you.
I mean, and I could understand why he's like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes.
And I know they were like, well, I wish you would come and get to know us, but I was so nervous. I didn't really know what was going on.
Well, I was the only person that you knew in the country, so.
Yeah, so it's a little different. That was a little different.
But now?
Yeah, I'll leave him.
See ya. My mom probably would recommend it.
Yes, I will leave him. Not leave him like divorce him, but leave him and go spend time with the family.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
So so kind of to move a little bit ahead, we're in Branson and we're learning more about each other. Yeah. There's truths that are being uncovered. Not necessarily a bad thing, but just like, you know, sometimes as a husband and a wife, we make decisions on our own in our private time that we don't necessarily discuss.
Yeah.
And we're not necessarily transparent about them. And what I found is when we do that, our conscience has a tendency to bother us and we react to the guilt that we have in our conscience.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, yes, we do. It all depends on where we want to go with it. You know, do we want to come out or do we want to keep it covered, whatever that is? So let me go into detail. So while we were in Louisville, you know, we had some stuff going on and I went and took out a loan to pay some bills off. Well, I paid some bills, but it never dawned on me to have the conversation with Andrea. You know, so we at church, you know, we in Branson, we at church. And, you know, Brother Keith is talking about the conscience and, you know, he's ministering and he said, you know, I just got in my heart that some of you have made some decision and you haven't told your spouse about it. And the Lord brought that up to me in church. Like, you know, you took the loan out, but you never told Andrea about that. I mean, the loan is paid for. You know, everything is good. Like, yeah, I never did tell her that, huh? And it started bothering me. So, yeah, after we got home from church, we had that conversation.
So I'm like, when do we have a loan? You didn't tell me we had a loan? I mean, goodness.
Yeah.
We had a loan?
I said, it's not only that we have a loan, but it's paid off. You know?
Well, I'm grateful that it was paid off, but I mean, it's really important. I mean, even to talk to submission, when it says submit one to another, it means yield to each other. If you want to do something or make some decisions, you know, you got to talk about these things. Yeah. You know, you got to kind of embrace the fact that you have to be honest.
You have to. Well, let me say something right there. You know, sometimes, and it's common in our culture, this culture, and it's common in men. You know, we want to tell our wives how to submit to us, but then we want to pick and choose. We want to decide how we're going to submit to her. No, that's not fair. Whatever degree we expect our wives to go to, we should be willing to go to that same degree to be a blessing to her. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, and I have friends, I've heard people talk about it. You know, they expect the wife to come home after a day's work and cook and clean and get the kids in bed and wash the clothes and do it. No, when I come home, I cook. I like to cook. I don't do all the cooking, but I wouldn't have a problem doing it. I mean, if I'm tired, I'd say, hey, Andrea, I'm tired. I don't have it in me. Or I just don't have the strength. I don't feel like doing it, and she'll do it. But I enjoy cooking. You know, I enjoy in making sure the kids take baths. I mean, I enjoy making sure that they go to bed at the right time. Our youngest son, Nathan, actually, all three of our sons, when they were born and when they got to Kenton and Nathan in particular, Marcus Jr. was a special case because he was premature. But Kenton and Nathan, when they got to like 6 or 7 months, Andrea never woke up again in the middle of the night. I mean, they didn't even wake her up. They come to me. If they get up, they come to my side of the bed and wake me up.
They do.
Nathan wouldn't necessarily
precious children.
Nathan wouldn't necessarily he wouldn't necessarily get out of his bed. He'd just yell from the room, "Dad, Dad," and I always could hear.
Yeah.
I hear. I just know everything that's going on with them.
But let me explain that. Okay, so Marcus is very hands-on. So when I first got married, this was a little bit different for me because I was used to my mom raised me. Yeah, I talked to you guys about that. We had a full-blown conversation. My mom raised me, so I was prepared mentally to make those choices. Okay, I was prepared mentally to get up at night. I was prepared mentally to do everything. I was prepared mentally for, Marcus just to be who he is as a man and go to work and do those things. And I was prepared mentally just to be a mom, work, be a mom. You know what I'm saying? I was completely prepared for that. So when Marcus became really hands-on, I had to yield in that area because it wasn't normal. Like to me, it wasn't normal for him to be so involved with the kids, be so nurturing with the kids, be so caring with the kids. I'm talking like the cuddling and the things that now I cuddle and I love and I kiss on my kids, but my husband does the same thing. They see the same amount of affection from me as they see from him and vice versa. Like he is totally involved. He loves getting up at night. He loves having them call on him on a reg. See, he's about to start crying.
No,
but he loves.
Crying, man. You gotta be kidding me.
Okay. He loves having them call on him regularly, especially as men. He's a man. He's raising men, and he's really showing them how to be gentle guys and be strong at the same time. Well, I had to yield to that. I had to back up because if I didn't, we were going to be fighting.
Yeah,
we're going to be fighting because I thought my role was to be this all nurturing person. Not that I'm not, but Marcus wanted to be more of a nurturer as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's our kids, you know, and you shouldn't have to do all of the parenting by yourself. I mean, I look at Kenton, I was so involved with his school, they were surprised he had a mom, because they only saw me. Why? Because I wanted to. That's something I wanted to do. And I work a second shift. So Andrew had to be to work at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he didn't go to school till 8:30. So it's not fair for her to have to go to work late every day because she had to drop the kid off. So that's something I wanted to do. I mean, that's my son, Kenton, Marcus, Nathan, they our children. So it takes a mom and a dad to raise them. It takes a mother and a father. And yes, I wanted them to see that part of me. They see the tough, that part of me, the strong, or whatever you want to call it. But I want them to see the affectionate part of me. And most people that encounter me, they don't necessarily see that affectionate part of me first. They see the tough part of me, and that's another story in itself. But I want them to know the affectionate part of me to where they could come and sit on my lap. And not Kenton and Marcus anymore because they grown a little bit. But Nathan still come and sit on my lap and talk. But Kenton and Marcus would come and give me fist bumps, and they would talk. They would open up in conversation, and that's what I want. I want to be able to have those conversations. I want them to be able to come talk to me about girlfriends, and I mean, like Kenton came home one day and started talking about somebody offering him marijuana at school, and he made the right choice. But because he was open and we were able to have those conversations, I have experience in that area. Andrew necessarily don't, but I wanted to get ahead. I made a lot of mistakes, and while I can't change it or go back and fix it, I could take my mistakes and use that as a building block to make sure my sons get ahead, to make sure they got a stronger foundation to build on,
Yeah. And for me, my involvement, I listen to music loud. Every latest song that's out, I'm listening to whatever the hip hop music is out. I'm blasting the music while we're all in the car.
Gospel.
They love listening and being with me when it comes to that. And then if they want to have heart-to-heart conversations, they sit down. My young men sit down and talk to me about what they're feeling.
Yeah.
How to navigate through things, how to be a leader, those types of situations. So there is a balance.
Yeah.
They're not lacking on either end, but there's no, the Bible tells us to submit to one another. It does say submit in that vein, wives submitting to the husbands, and husbands loving the wife, but it becomes a natural flow when you start to communicate and you're open and you're honest. It is birthed out of that open communication, and then your willingness to listen to each other, make adjustments. We've talked a lot about we talked about some really good times. Let's kind of dig into some hard times. Last year, Marcus was it last year or the year before last that your cousin passed away?
Tommy.
Yeah.
Last year.
So his cousin passed away last year. That's a very emotional, very traumatic experience. And whenever Marcus goes to the Bahamas, because it's different culturally, okay? Marcus has kind of, you explain it because I don't want to misexplain.
So in the Bahamas, I mean, my family, I came from a real close family, and I mean, we'll ride and rag on each other. I mean, up one side and down the other, and it's all love, And I came from a big family. I came from a big family, and it's just like when I go home, I'm home. I let my guard down. I'm home. I'm amongst family. And I mean, that Bahamian in me comes up, and sometimes that Bahamian, where in America y'all may call me brutal. When that Bahamian in me comes up, you may call me brutal. I mean, it is what it is. That's just who we are. Not saying we're mean. We're not mean people, but they're very blunt. We're blunt. And matter of fact. Yes. So whenever I get on the plane to come back to the U.S., sometimes that Bahamian get on the plane with me. Not that I'm always a Bahamian, but that bluntness, that as a matter of fact, whatever that is, it comes back with me, and sometimes I'm not aware. And when my cousin died and I came back to the U.S., Andrea realized that I was different, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. And with my cousin, she was so young and had so much life. But when she passed, it affected me in a way that none other who in our family that has went on before has affected me. It hit me hard.
Yeah.
And I bottled up instead of opening up.
Yeah. And I would say, kind of going through that, Marcus was really, we had gotten to the place where we were talking about everything, and I could tell that it was like the little things that were, because he was hurting so bad. Sometimes when you hurt so bad, and I say this to a lot of people, when you're hurt so bad, you're hurt deeply, sometimes you just don't have any more room to let anything else in.
Yeah. And
generally, it's the small things that you deal with, and you don't necessarily deal with them well because you can't take any more hurt, any more pain. You just have to you react how you react, and it's not anything personally, but it's a reaction because you're so deeply hurt. And I think, we had gone for like a couple of months, and I could tell that Marcus was kind of building up a really strong defense because when we'd have conversations, we would talk about some of the same things over and over and over again. And it seemed like I wasn't respecting you, didn't it?
It seems like that. But at the same time, I was pretty brutal. Looking back at it now, I thought I was kind of loving and just maybe a little more blunt, but very much so not respectful.
Yeah. So when I would mention these things, he thought that I was trying to tear him down. He thought that I was trying to come against him. And I mean, we would have conversation after conversation, and he was like, "You just don't respect me." And I'm like, "I'm trying to respect you, but you're different. Like, this is not the same." Well, eventually, I was praying for him, and we had, like I said, we had multiple conversations about the situation. Like, hey, look, maybe we can make some adjustments. Maybe we can work on like you opening up. I do understand. Like, I tried to be as compassionate as I could. I know you're hurting. I know that this is still bothering you. I know that this is lingering in the back of your mind. You haven't fully dealt with it. And I know we've had these conversations before. Come on, I just kind of want to move past this point. And you weren't really ready to do that, were you?
No.
Yeah.
But I got ready.
Yeah. And eventually we sat down and we talked for about 6 hours.
Yeah. She talked for 5, I talked for 1. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I honestly, I let him say whatever he wanted to say.
Yeah.
To me, I felt like me listening to him, getting his point of view, explaining my point of view, and really saying, okay, is there something that I can do? Is there an expectation that I'm not fulfilling, that you want me to fulfill? And if that is the case, then I will do everything that I can do to meet that expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got to the root of it. And I mean, obviously we here, God has been good. But those cultural differences it was pretty strenuous. Even I mean, we were 16 years into this. Even 16 years into it, just taking a flight. I mean, just and it's to go bury a loved one, and it was so much of a pile-on effect because, this was last year around this time, but the year before that, I went to the Bahamas, for the same thing, a funeral, where we buried her father. And then a year later, I went back to, for her funeral. And that was hard. And just before a few months before her dad passed, his twin brother passed. So, and then after her dad passed, my mom, oldest brother, then he passed 2 weeks later. We were in the Bahamas doing that conference. And my mom got the phone call we were leaving the house to go to the service. I was actually speaking on that night. That was that I was speaking when she got the call. And it was so late. Like, I mean, you can't pass it off to somebody else. You just had to deal with it. You just had to roll with it, But the hurt and the pain that was there. And, even with everything that my family had went through over the years and with her passing, it hurt deep. And I did not know how to process it. And I didn't want any help. I didn't want no outside help. And I mean, Andrea was there. She was trying. She did the best she can. But thank God, it eventually, I was able to move to get out of that.
You said something there. I tried to help. And then there's one other thing that I did. I knew that as a man, Marcus would need a male perspective. So I offered him, I said, look, I know I can't help you. I don't know what it feels like to hurt on this level as a man, but I am willing to give you time and space to talk to some of your friends, talk to some of the leaders at church, talk to whomever you wish, so that you can get to a place to where you can start dealing with the hurt and dealing with the pain.
Yeah.
And I feel like you did that. You took that time.
I did.
Yeah.
I went and talked to one of the pastors at Lima.
Yeah.
I went and talked to Pastor Bill Ray. Hey, Pastor Bill.
Hey, Pastor Bill.
Actually, I've had a lot of conversations with Pastor Bill and just how the Lord has used him to help me get better, to help me process some things, to help me come out of some things, to help me process through a lot of emotions, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. Rejection was something that I struggle with. And I mean, he helped me. The Lord through him helped me abundantly. And you know, sometimes us men, we're strong and we this and we that, but you know what? Even the men need help, and it's not right when you need help and you know you need help, and you don't go out there and get help because the people that you love, your wife and your kids, gonna suffer. They're the ones that you hurt. They're the ones that feel the pain. They're the ones that see it. They're the ones that receive the ripple effect of the head of the man being hurt.
So can you say that once you became more healthy personally as an individual,
Mhm.
that you didn't necessarily have to enforce your rights as the head of the family, that it was just respected as your voice was respected?
Yeah, well, you got to understand, I was in a healthier place, so my perspective was different. You know, there's no need to put up no defense. There's no need to fight because I'm secure in who I am. And you know, even if I don't need that, that's something I don't need from you. That I don't need from. But I'm not saying I don't need it. I'm saying that's something that y'all don't have to validate that for me. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I know who God has made me, and I'm walking in that. So I don't need you to say, I respect you. I don't need that. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary. When I got the help I need, I got confident in who I am, and who he's made me, and I begin to operate out of that. It makes a difference.
I'm going to tell a short story, and then I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions if you have them. So for him to say that, it did change my respect level for him. When he became more confident, I became more confident in who he was. Now, you know, while he was going through this process, I never left him out. We've always had a very open and honest relationship. I don't mean open as in other partners, but I mean open as in, if something is bothering me, if something is bothering him, we are very open to talk about it and try to work through it.
Well, let me say it like this. Andrew and I, we have a relationship that we're open and honest with each other. Even if it hurts, you know, even if it hurts me to say it, or if it hurts her to hear it. If it hurts her to say it, or it hurts me to hear it, we have those conversations.
Yeah.
At first, it wasn't easy. At first, it wasn't comfortable. But now we have it so frequent. Like, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. I respect that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing. You know, that's important.
Now, open and honesty doesn't necessarily mean agreement, but it does mean that it's out. The truth is out there. And then you can allow the Lord to deal with your heart, you know, to let you know if it's right or not, kind of chew on those things and make some decisions from there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this really quickly. And like I said, I'm going to open the floor for questions, or open up for some questions. Marcus in March, or actually February, was diagnosed with a tumor next to his heart. And I told him this the other day, and it kind of made him tear up a little bit, but I'm going to say it again. When Marcus had surgery, it was open chest surgery. So that means they cracked open his rib cage, went in, took the tumor out, closed it back up. And I will say this, Marcus was in his most vulnerable, weakest state, but I could not have respected him more. I could not have been more confident in him and who he was as a husband and as a person than I was at that moment. He was extremely vulnerable and extremely weak and physically, but I respected him because he was believing for himself to get better for us.
Yeah.
He was fighting, not just for himself, but he was fighting for us. And when he got out of the hospital, I mean, I was okay. I was great. I was like head over heels that, I had to take care of Marcus. I was so excited because at that point, I was like, wow, I get to take care of him. Like, he's taking care of us. I get to take care of him. I'm so excited. I'm so honored. And I did whatever I could. I mean, whatever you needed, I was there, right?
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
And for me,
not bragging, but just out of honor and respect for him.
It was hard. Being like that, and for Andrea and the boys to see me like that, it was hard. It was not comfortable for me. I'd never been in a position like that. I'd never been immobile to where I couldn't lift 10 pounds, you know. I never experienced that. So having her and the boys to do everything for me is just, they supposed to ask me to do everything, but me asking them for everything, it was different, man. And they stepped up, you know. Kenton was there, Marcus was there, Nathan was there, Andrea was there. I mean, she did so much, and I'm so grateful. My youngest, Nathan, I was doing something, and he was like, "Come on, Dad, I'll pick you up." I mean, and yeah, that brought tears to my eye. It really did. You know, Kenton would, when we go to church, you know, I go walking. He was with me to make sure that I'm good, make sure nothing happens to me. Marcus, the same thing. You know, it was a big deal, man. You know, I got a heavenly family. You know, that they just, my wife and kids was there for me. So now that I'm up and mobile, you know, I'm gonna do what I can. You know, well, obviously I'm gonna believe God, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, love you.
Love you too. Give me. There you go.
Sorry about that. I wasn't trying to show public affection,
You
but
better
it
show
was
public
necessary.
display of affection.
It was necessary. So that was sweet. I'm going to open up the floor or open up live and see if you guys have some questions for us. While I'm waiting, you can just type them in or whatever. I'm going to do some shout outs. So, hey, Erica, love you, girl. James, hey, buddy. Penny, Miss Penny's good that you're online. Hey, Toya. Hey, Janine. Hey, Janine.
Yeah. My sister Toya?
Yeah, Toya. Yeah,
hey, sis.
Yeah. Hey, Kente. Hey, Samantha. Glinton.
Not coming out of Freeport. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, Mom. Yeah, it's good to see you guys on. Sandy, we said hey earlier. Hey, Chad. Hey, Caleb. Hey,
Chatty
Denisha. Yeah, Chatty
Hey, Chatty Waddy.
Yeah. Hey, Brother David West. Hey, Andy. Okay. Hey, Monique. That's Uncle Walter's daughter.
Oh, hey, Monica. What's up, cuz? You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Bahamian coming out.
Yeah, the Bahamian's coming out. Well, I don't see any questions or anything like that on here. Look, it's been a pleasure. We are so grateful and so thankful that you were on with us tonight. Again, we were addressing submission. It's a two-party message. And basically what we've said is submission is a two-way street. Yeah. You know, and as you grow and develop and kind of get your groove and the swing of things and you recognize each other's strengths, be strong where you're strong and be weak where you're weak. and let each other be strong in their strengths. Yeah. Because that doesn't mean that you're weak. And yes, Andy, I want to come soon.
And we've been saying soon. Been soon.
Hey, look, I'm not in Rome anymore, and Marcus will be able to come. We'll be able to come soon. Okay. Once this COVID-19, we'll have some time to, you know, get out there. But we're looking forward to it. I was thinking about four-wheeling the other day. It was so great. Marcus and Kenton told me about it. They said it's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe we ought to come for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We'll get snow in Colorado.
I don't know about Thanksgiving. Yeah, but we love you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Hopefully this was an alternative to some of the things that we're seeing out there in the news. And we love you. We are praying for the situation, praying for the family, the Floyd family, the Arbery family, and the Taylor family.
Yeah.
All right. God bless you guys. Love you much.